What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American, here today to react and learn about Pierre Poilievre. So, like most Americans, I don't understand all that much about Canadian politics. So today, I'm interested in learning about one of the possible candidates for the next Canadian Prime Minister, which is, pretty important. And yet I realized I know absolutely nothing about this person. So let's take a look here. This is going to explain sort of the story and background of Pierre Poilievre.
He's a really smart guy.
Wow, I've never seen a hat like this before. What is this? Save Canada. My God. I can't say, as an American, I can't say what exactly life is like in Canada right now, but there's people out there with Save Canada hats, actually. I've never seen that before. Wow.
He's a really smart guy.
I like that he is very aggressive.
He's a man of the people.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Okay.
I have some results. We have a new leader, the Honorable Pierre Poilievre.
Oh gosh, I've been saying the name wrong. Oh no, how do you pronounce this? Poilievre? Someone will say the name again, and I'll know. Apologies. I don't think it's Poilievre.
Okay, there you have it.
Pierre Poilievre? Poilievre? Is he French? I can't be pronouncing these French names. That's too difficult for my American brain. Okay, cut me some slack on that one, please. Wow.
Very decisive win. As you can see, there is a lot of love for him
There he
in
is.
this room. But he has also been described as divisive and angry.
A man of the people, at least one random person said at this convention here. But that's a good thing. That sounds good. I am a little confused. He's the leader of the Canadian Conservative Party. How does that happen? How do you become the leader of the party? I've wondered about that. I actually don't know. But anyway, he's the leader, so if the Conservative Party was to take a majority in the next Canadian, general election, he would be the Prime Minister. I think I understand that much, at least.
Love him or hate him, he could be the next Prime Minister of Canada.
Right.
Who is he? Who is Pierre Poilievre? Let's take a look.
Right.
Pierre Poilievre grew up in Calgary.
Calgary? Calgary? He's got a cowboy hat on, even. Oh, how can you not like the guy? He's got a hat. Calgary? I thought they were going to say, Quebec, His name sounds so French. I can't even pronounce it. It's so French. He's not French? I mean, he must be. Or his parents, right? Pierre. Nobody in America is named Pierre, by the way. That is the most French name.
Calgary, adopted by two teachers. He often talks about how support should come from community, not from government.
In a free country, smaller government makes room for bigger citizens.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't sound French at all. I bet he's bilingual, though, which is impressive. Anyway, I'm getting caught up on the French thing. Okay.
So it was here that as a young member of parliament in his 20s, Pierre Poilievre started really garnering the reputation of being a combative adversary.
He was once caught on mic saying F you to some fellow MPs in a committee meeting.
I remember.
Whoa. Whoa. Hey, okay. He really did that. I mean, it was a while ago. But he was like a government official. He said F you, the F word, on the record. I don't know. That's one of those things where, it's funny. that could actually make people like him in a weird way. Where if you're like, oh, he talks like you and me. I love to say that. I could easily see it like people being like, oh, that's unprofessional, or people being like, oh, that's cool. I don't know.
Remember him vividly.
Former Liberal MP Wayne Easter remembers dealing with a challenging Poilievre.
Him and I have had some rather interesting exchanges.
Dealing with this minister is like playing chess with a pigeon. He flaps his wings all over the place, knocks the pieces off the table, messes all over the table, then struts around like he won the game.
I'd like to give the members some credit for creativity.
What? What is going on? I think Canadian politics are just entertaining now. What? You never see anything half this entertaining in American politics. Okay. Well, so far, I'm getting mixed signals. Some of the people here are like, he's the next big thing. Some of the people here are like, oh, he's difficult, hard to work with. So I don't know. Let's keep going, though.
Was quite young, but he certainly didn't answer questions and certainly didn't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
15 seconds, Prime Minister.
Ever the opportunity.
It's interesting, isn't it? I'm certainly no expert on politics. That's for sure. And, Canadians are the ones who need to determine the future of Canada. That's Canadians' responsibility and all that. But I will say that this guy is spot on, I think. This is very relatable to American politics and politics in general. It doesn't seem to always matter if you're talking about facts or data. It really is more of selling yourself on an emotional and personal level that matters, you know? It's kind of interesting how that works. For better or for worse, appealing on an emotional level is just as important, if not more important, than presenting like the facts of the matter, you know?
Opportunist. In 2020, Poilievre was co-chairing a virtual committee hearing with Easter.
Your 16 seconds is up.
When Easter's power went out, Poilievre saw an opening to grill the Prime Minister.
Your 16 seconds are up. I'm going to ask you again because nobody believes you when you say you don't know how much money your family has got from the We Group.
When he's on an issue.
Whoa. Huh. I never heard about that little Zoom conference. That's really interesting. Again, I really don't understand. Like, but I want to be as transparent as possible here. I'm just here to understand and learn. Really, not to really pass judgments on anything, and hopefully just, I don't know, say the facts as I see them presented before me. But anyway, with that disclaimer being said, don't come after me with the torches and pitchforks. Anyway, when politics are being discussed and all that. But maybe some people kind of like that Pierre definitely seems like willing to be aggressive and like not to, that was like, I was gonna say to Trudeau's face, but that was like through a computer screen, funny enough. But ask him hard questions and be very forthcoming. And, I assume people appreciate that aspect of his personality, that he's willing to kind of go there and be aggressive, I guess.
He's like a dog with a bone. He's just a bulldozer, and he goes straight ahead on that issue, regardless of what others are trying to do.
That's why I'm running for Prime Minister, to put you back in charge of your life.
When Poilievre announced he was going to run earlier this year, he said he was doing so to give people the freedom to run their own lives.
Freedom from the invisible thief of inflation. Freedom to raise your kids with your values. Freedom to make your own health and vaccine choices.
Yeah. Inflation has been a very, very, very big issue here in America as well. I think that's one of the things that gets people probably the most passionate about who they're going to elect. Because if lots of things like don't affect you directly, but when things cost more money, and you feel like you're getting more poor, or you're losing money, or you can't afford food, groceries, or bills, that is the most straightforward, like, that's the most obvious, clear, impactful thing in your life, almost. One of the most important things. And that gets people passionate and like, okay, I can't buy my frozen pizzas anymore because they've doubled in price. I'm gonna do something. I gotta vote for somebody. Like, inflation has definitely gotten people in America, like, passionate about, oh, we need a change. We need to combat this, and we need someone who's gonna fix this. And so that's a big issue here as well, yeah.
He's tapped into the anger and frustrations people have with high food, gas, and housing prices.
His message on economic issues really resonates with a lot of people.
Shakir Chambers, a conservative strategist, says Poilievre's attacks on the government are also hitting home with supporters.
When he's talking to politicians or the gatekeepers, if you will, it's much more forceful because he views them as the issue. He views them as causing all these obstacles for the average Canadian.
And again, it's just like here. Whether or not the current governments are causing inflation or making bad decisions, that might be the case, might not be the case in some circumstances, doesn't matter. It's really about the messaging. It sounds like Pierre is doing a good job saying or presenting a message of all your problems are because of our current government, how it's being run. So let's change. And, you know, that's a very powerful message that seems to be resonating with a lot of Canadians, because I haven't looked at polls or anything, but I get the sort of feeling, or from a distance, from what I've heard vaguely, I think Pierre might be, like, favored in the next Canadian election. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he might be favored, right?
Earlier this year, Poilievre took heat for his support of the so-called Freedom Convoy.
Freedom, not fear. Truckers, not Trudeau.
Of course, he said that he did.
Yes, the trucker convoy, this was I always say, I like to look at Canadian news every week. And I always say that Canadian news is never shown in America. This was shown. The trucker, this whole incident, this was news in America. Big news.
Support illegal acts, but there were many elements in the protest itself were illegal. There were hate symbols and conspiracy theories, and many people were concerned about the direction he was heading.
I worry that he's catering to some of the misinformation and angers that's out there. And at the end of the day, as a leader, you won't be able to do that. I would hope that he can come back to the center.
What do you make of the Trump comparisons?
I would say comparing Poilievre to Trump is very lazy. Donald Trump has a far more greater desire to kind of stoke political violence and encourage things that I don't think Pierre Poilievre has any desire to kind of engage with.
Is this a thing? Comparing Pierre, Poilievre? I still can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry. But I, again, blame my American brain on that. Try to make comparisons of Pierre to Donald Trump, which I could see being like a pretty effective tactic, honestly. I just didn't know, even as an American, that was something that was even going on in Canada. That's interesting to me.
Now that he's won the leadership race, can he win over enough Canadians to take a general election and unseat Trudeau's Liberals?
Do you think he'll be Prime Minister?
Oh, absolutely.
Why?
Because there's a hunger out there. There's a starvation out there to hear exactly what he was proclaiming tonight. He's saying what people want to hear.
Tell me how you're feeling.
I'd like to hear more about what he is proclaiming, what his plan is, because I can't. This video like, just to be clear, it's not an endorsement or anything, nor is it saying that he's bad. It's just me learning, because I can't say that I even understand what he stands for. So I can't say either way, you know? He could be trying to enact a new policy on mandatory kitten kicking day. I'd have no idea. I don't know.
Right now.
I am feeling very excited, very optimistic for the next general election. Honestly, I believe that Justin Trudeau's days of virtue signaling are coming to a fast end.
Jamie, we know your podcast, Front Burner, tomorrow and Tuesday is going to dive more deeply into Pierre Poilievre's past.
Okay. I think that's pretty much the end of that segment. I do want to take a look at least one more segment here. This is a little video. Something I like about Pierre is he has his own YouTube channel, so I can at least respect that. And he made this video, Axe the Tax. Axe the Tax. And honestly, I just want to see the man speak. I just want to understand his vibe, his cadence, his demeanor, and how he talks and his messaging. That can tell you, a lot about a person. I've never gotten to see that yet. So let's see.
Here we are in Russell, Ontario on Canada Day, celebrating. Russell's near Ottawa. And look what I found. Driving down the road, we saw one of the local farmers or business people put up this beautiful sign, Axe the Tax, which is
is that like a slogan he's doing? Axe the Tax? Which tax needs to be axed exactly? These are other things I don't know about Canada. I was actually hoping, when I saw this, I thought he was going to get out a physical axe, like a real axe, and chop the sign in half or something and be like, Axe the Tax. Then I would have been like, okay, this man is on to something. That would have been entertaining. But no, he just found this while driving down the road, actually.
What we all want, and that's my first priority when I become Prime Minister. Axe the tax and come around the other side here. You can see what else they've got on the other side, which is bring it home. Bring home more of your paycheck. Bring home the production and business back to our country.
Okay. I was like, bring it home? Like what? Like the Stanley Cup? Like what are we talking about? Bring it home. Bring your money home. He's really focusing a lot on the economic pain that Canada is feeling, which again, in my opinion, is a good tactic. People will not care about certain issues that are important, but people will always care about money. Sadly, it's a very blunt way to say it, but that's your life. That's affects you very, very clearly. So this is a good strategy.
Bring homes people can afford. Most of all, though, bring home the country that we knew and still love. Canada, our home and native land. Thank you very much to everyone for joining our beautiful movement. Let's bring it home.
That's interesting as well. He's using some messaging that American politicians also like to use, which is this new thing, and it's let's go back to the way we were. That's become very popular in the last 10 or so years, in America at least. This idea of things have gotten worse, we peaked and now it's gotten worse. Let's go back. And Pierre here is using that very same messaging, which is very interesting to me. This whole thing has been quite interesting to me. I think I got one more clip here. This is Pierre, at a local gathering, answering random questions off the cuff. So let's see how he handles this.
Are you going to try to reunite Canada instead of split?
Yes, we are going to unite our country. We're going to unite based on freedom.
So, interesting question about uniting Canada. I don't know if Canadians feel split or diversified or in a bad way or something like that. I can't speak on that. But what I can speak on is what I'm seeing here. He does come across as quite normal. which is good. Oftentimes politicians fall into a bad habit of intentionally or unintentionally, they come across as better than you, like they're better. Like they're in a position of power already, so you have to be very careful. You are a representative of the people, and don't you forget it. You're not there because you're the king. You're there because you're there to serve the people and represent. And so when you come across as more of a normal person, people like that. And I think he does a decent job at coming across as just a guy. You know, that's a good thing. You're just a guy who like wants to make Canada better. So that's good. Again, I don't know like every single one of his policies that he stands for. This is just my surface level analysis.
Freedom is our nationality in Canada. Unlike other countries that define their nationality by ethnicity, race, religion, we define it by our shared and common freedom. The current
freedom. This would work well in America. Freedom. We love talking about freedom here.
Government has, they follow an ideology that divides people into different groups based on gender, race, vaccine status, region, whether they try to divide business owners against workers. They try to seek any division they can in order to make people forget they can't afford their rent. And I think we need to put an end to that approach. We need to give everybody more freedom over their own decisions to live their own lives and chart their own course. I don't want to run people's lives. I want to run the government. I want to allow you all to make your own free decisions so that you can cooperate with your fellow citizens to exchange work for wages, product for payment, investment for interest. You decide your religion, your values.
He's good at talking. I'm also listening to like his messaging as well. Yeah, he's a good speaker. Like this is all off the cuff. I'd say that's pretty well done, honestly.
How you raise your kids, how you spend your money. We leave people with the freedom to make their own decisions. We have maximum harmony because nobody feels like they're being bulldozed over by anyone else. And that's the approach that I'm going to take to unite our country around our proud history and for a future of freedom and opportunity.
Yeah, okay. I get it. I understand now. Especially in this day and age where some people feel like a lot of our problems are caused by the government. He's taking more of a, like, we're going to be hands-off government. We're going to do, the necessary things and, like, lower taxes, apparently. And then the rest is going to be just up to you all to decide for yourselves. Which I think in this time right now seems to be resonating with people because people seem... I think this probably goes in cycles, like in human psychology, probably. Like, people like when things are going good because of the government, when you first form governments and they're doing a good job, and then over time, things start going badly, and people are like, oh, that's because of the government, and then they want a hands-off government, and it probably, like, switches, And anyway, I don't mean to go into political philosophies here, but that's what I thought about what he was saying. Very interesting guy. Seems like a likable enough guy. I mean, he must be to be doing so well. Or maybe people are just upset enough with Trudeau and the current Canadian government that Canadians are like, whatever, we'll take anyone but this. Or are Canadians like, no, this guy's great, we want him. Maybe it's a combination of both. I don't know. But this is really interesting. Again, I don't really dive into politics, Canadian politics, all that much. I try to maintain some kind of balance when it comes to this topic. So there you go. From an American point of view, though, this was very, very interesting to me. I've never seen the man before, never heard him speak, didn't know anything about him. So this was very, very interesting to me, and he might be the next Canadian Prime Minister, and now I know about him, which I think is good for me as an American to know. So yeah, I quite enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on Pierre Poilievre? Poilievre. Your thoughts on Pierre. And your thoughts on anything we saw here today. If anything I said made sense, if anything I said sounded completely stupid, feel free to let me know. It's perfectly fine. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.